you, though, my name is Bree-Ann, and I'm on staff here at Shepherd Youth. And I'm going to be talking today about friendship and about trust specifically. If you've been here for the last couple weeks, Caleb Walden, who had some really impressive dance moves earlier, I'd just like to say, he was talking to you about some different things in friendship, the fact that you were made for relationships, the fact that your friendships will define who you are. The people you spend the most time with, those 5 people, you'll look like them. And so you can't let the fear of loneliness drive you into bad friendships. You can't live the right life with the wrong friends. It's just a fact of life. You can believe it if you can like deny it if you want, but it's just true. You will turn into the people that you hang around. And so today I kind of want to talk to you about how I got to the point in my friendships where I really created these deep, lasting friendships. And so in order for you to trust me, though, I feel like I need to share some of my friendships with you. Is that okay? Is that okay? Okay, there's a lot of you, but it sounds like there's 2 people in the room. Is that okay? Oh my goodness, thank you so much for letting me. I'm so glad you're excited to hear about my friendships. Okay, so we all have those friends that our parents are best friends. You know what I'm talking about? So they're automatic friends. Even if you don't like them, you kind of have to hang out with them, so you better learn to like them. No, but I love this guy. His name's Justin, and we grew up together. Oh, baby Brianne. I'd like to point out that I am swimming. I have a swimsuit on, but I also have a bow in my hair. I've been like this my whole life. You're welcome. Okay, next picture. This is getting into middle school, I think. Oh, I'm so cringe. Okay, this is just me being honest and vulnerable with you, sharing my life. It gets worse, though. Can you guys figure out which one I am? Do you know which one I am? You really can't tell? I don't feel like I look that different. This one on the left. So I went to one dance in middle school and high school, all throughout middle school and high school, and it was in 8th grade, and this was the dance I went to. And these are my school friends. It's Krista, Lauren, Chiharu, and Carly. And Krista and Carly were like, they stayed friends with me all through high school, but they were kind of like the people I hung out with at school. I didn't really see them outside of school or outside of, we did show choir together later in high school, but that was pretty much the only time I saw them. And then my close friends that I formed in middle school, though, that stuck with me forever are these girls right here. I know, we're so cool. Just be jealous. So this was Halloween. I'm the pink one, okay? We decided that we should form our own superhero league. Now, mind you, I think we were in 8th and 9th grade at this point. So we were doing it because we were like, oh, let's be dorky on purpose so that we're cool, you know? But we called ourselves the Mighty Fortress 4, and we all had our own superhero names, and we made these costumes ourselves. And we were super excited about this picture because the background is blurred. That just happened, you guys. And we thought it was the coolest thing in the world because it looks like, okay, it's not cool anymore. Yeah. Anyways, that's us on Halloween. I got several more pictures because these are my girls, okay? Oh gosh, it's so bad. Okay, we've been friends for a long time. This is a really old picture, but we used to think it was cool to cornrows like half of our hair and then like wear it in a ponytail. And so that's us, minus Shelby. Next picture. Okay, this is my 16th birthday party. We went downtown. This is before the surprise party that my mom threw for me, where at the beginning of the surprise party, when I wasn't there yet, the guy I was talking to that I ended up like dating, my mom sat down next to him and started a conversation and introduced him to my whole family. Well, I wasn't there. I couldn't do it. Sorry, that's very, very sidetracked. But this was before I knew there was a surprise party. I went downtown. I was like, I just want to go with my best friends. We're going to go to dinner. And then I'm going to bring my digital camera that I got. You guys know what digital cameras are anymore? You have them on your phones. We used to have them separate from our phones. Okay, so I took it, and we like went downtown and took pictures. But this is Kaylee. She's like kind of like my little sister. She's Justin's little sister. And she just the whole night, she was like, what are you guys doing? You're so weird. Anyway, so that was us. Okay, what else do we have? This was another Halloween. If you would like the best Halloween costume idea, I'm giving it to you right now for free. We dressed up as each other for Halloween. It was genius. Okay, so I always wore like high heels and stuff. So Ashley has on like high heels and my clothes. I put on her softball uniform and like spray painted my hair like gold. Well, yellow, blonde. There we go. That's the name for yellow hair. And then they switched. It was It was fantastic. So just steal that one if you want. Next one. I have a track record of dressing up like Hannah Montana. So this is me as Hannah Montana in high school. It was a little girl's birthday party, and she wanted Hannah Montana to come. And so I dressed up and I sang a couple songs as Hannah Montana. It was cool. It was whatever, okay? Okay, next picture. This was kind of just our friendship all the time. This is Lydia's basement. We hung out and watched movies, and they were ridiculous. And that's me. And then Ashley always wore my clothes, and so every single piece of clothing she has on is mine in this picture. Mind you, to this day, girls, you know what I'm talking about. They take credit for your clothes, and you look at the picture, and you're like, those are my clothes. To this day, she will wear my clothes. Anyways, okay, next one. This is another photo shoot at the fountain we thought was cool. Don't know why. Next. This is us at summer camp. We went to summer camp like you guys do together. We always were in the same dorm and all that good stuff. Okay, next one. This is us a couple years after I had moved out here. We get together as much as we can. We make it a priority. And then I think we have a picture of us now. Yes. Oh, so cute. So this is my friend Lydia's wedding. She got married, and we still hang out. Like I said, these are just friendships that I don't think anything can separate at this point. We are just knit together. It doesn't matter how much time we spend apart. When we see each other, it's right back. There's a connection. And so, man, how do we have those friendships? We're going to get into that. But, looking at these pictures, you might think, okay, cool. I'm glad you have so many friendships. But guys, I'm almost 26, and it takes time to build these friendships, to look back and see the people that you have been able to really connect with. And, I moved here about 10 years ago, and the Lord brought me new friends, so I hang out with all the SY staff, and Adri, and Andy, and Rachel, and then, my husband's also my best friend. So I have those friendships now, and I have, friendships from middle school and high school, and it might seem like it was easy for you. But it wasn't. It took time. I remember in elementary school being so desperate for a best friend. Do you know what I'm talking about? That one person that you could buy a heart necklace where half of it said best and half of it said friends, and you wore one side and they wore the other side, and they had no other necklace on. They had no other bracelet on. It was just you and them with your heart necklaces. But that never happened. Every time I gave one to someone, what would happen? They wear it, but they would show up with another one on as well. And you're like, you can't have two best friends. That's not even a thing. Best is one best friend, right? And I struggled with this all through elementary school and honestly into middle school and high school. But I do think I kind of matured past that, and I was able to form these relationships that I was talking about with these girls in particular, that were these deep, lasting friendships. So how did I get there? I tried to retrace my steps. Like I said, it's been a while, but I think I came up with some good stuff. So we're going to pray, and we're going to dive into that. Jesus, thank you so much for the fact that you have allowed me, God, to have so many amazing friendships. Lord, that through your guidance, your wisdom, and your spirit, Lord, I have been able to experience joy and laughter and peace and fun alongside, God, my friends. And so I pray that for them in this room, Lord, that they would learn, that they would gain wisdom, Lord, from your word and from my life experience, that they would listen and that they would, in turn, form these relationships that you have called us to. We love you so much. In your name we pray. Amen. Okay, so today, buzzword, trust. That is what we're talking about today. Trust says, I can rely on you to stick by me, to be honest with me, to encourage me. I see you, and I am seen. I'm safe around you, and you are safe around me, and I'm satisfied in our friendship. Trust, don't get me wrong, it is not easy to build, but I promise you it is possible. I have friendships to prove it, and so do a lot of us around this room. I think there are 3 key components to trust, okay? 3. Ready? You're going to write them down. Time. Are you seen? Are you seen? Vulnerability. Do you feel safe being you in your friendship? Vulnerability, I know that's a big word, but do you feel safe being you, who you really are in your friendship? And positivity, is your friendship satisfying? Is it edifying? Do you walk away from your interactions feeling good and like you're the best version of you? Or the opposite? Now, before I dive into kind of how to get those things in your friendships, I want to kind of present some roadblocks, some reasons that you might have a hard time building trust, because you have to build these three things on a foundation, right, of being the right kind of person, okay? So first off, maybe you have these three things, but you've added a fourth thing to your friendship, which is dependency. You're in a dependent relationship. Okay, what does that mean, Brianne? You know what it means. When it's one-sided, it's the clinger. You know what I'm talking about? Like the person who just cannot live without the other, and I can't go anywhere, and I can't do anything, and I can't talk to that guy. You have to come with me. You have to come with me. Oh my goodness, they didn't text me back. Are they mad at me? I think they're mad at me. You know what I'm talking about? Like every little emotion of theirs hangs on the balance of how this person is. Sometimes it's like, oh, that guy or that girl. You guys aren't responding. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay, so this is unhealthy, and we know it when we see it in other people, but sometimes we're blind to it in our own relationships. Mr. Rogers. Did anybody watch Mr. Rogers growing up? Okay, a few of you in the room. PBS. I didn't have cable. Public television. Okay, so I'm obsessed with everything he said right now. So he has this quote. It says, we need to help people to discover the true meaning of love. Love generally gets confused with dependence. Those of us who've grown in love, though, we realize that we can only love in proportion to our capacity for independence. What does that mean? That means that your feelings, your happiness, your identity, your worth cannot depend on someone or something. You have to be firm in who you are as a person and as a child of God. I know it sounds cheesy, it sounds cliche, but it's true. If you're looking to someone else to complete you, it's never gonna work. You probably see this in like older people in their marriages. The ones that crumble are the ones that in the beginning were saying, you complete me. If you need a person to complete you, it's a little off, right? They enhance you. They make you a better version of yourself, maybe. They bring out the good, but they do not complete you. And the same thing goes for our friendships. If you're looking for any kind of identity from someone else, they will fail you and your friendship will not work. Second reason you might not be able to build friendships and trust is that you aren't a good friend. Ouch. Right? Golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Do unto others as you'd have them do to you. We've heard this a lot, right? I think a lot of us, though, even though we know this, we point the finger at the other person. You know what I'm talking about? When something goes down, it's never your fault. It's never something that you did. It's never something that you need to work on. If they would just stop, fill in the blank. Well, if she wasn't so, fill in the blank. And we point the finger when all the time the mirror needs to turn to us and we need to do an inspection of our character and our heart. Now, some of you are going to be really hard on yourself and be like, oh, you're right, I'm horrible. No, maybe the other person is toxic. And we'll talk about that later. But the point in this is that you need to take a look at yourself and do the things that you can do. Love in the ways that you can love before you start trying to fix the other person. Does that make sense? Next, another reason that you might not be able to build trust is because your priorities are out of whack. Your priorities are out of whack. Another way to say this is that you have really cool friends, but they're also really toxic and horrible for you. Every TV show ever has demonstrated this, especially 90s television. Do you know what I'm talking about? The episodes on friendship, it's classic. You've got like the person who's lonely or they're dorky or they're whatever, and they're portrayed as this like whatever you want it to be, and they don't have friends or they think they don't have friends, and the cool table comes walking by. And they're like, hey, you want to hang out with us? And the person gets super excited and they ditch their friends and they go hang out with the cool people. And then later in the episode, you realize, oh, they just wanted something, or they wanted to make fun of that person, or they wanted whatever, and they go back to their old friends and they're like, I'm so sorry, you guys are my true friends. And then like the 90s television music plays. It's all the same. You know what I'm talking about, correct? Okay. If you don't believe me, watch an episode of Boy Meets World, Full House, or Fresh Prince. I'm just saying, it's every single friendship episode, every single one. But do you use your friends? Are they rungs on a ladder to you? A way to be popular, to get ahead, to have more followers? True friends want what's best for us. They want to bring out the best version of us. It says in Hebrews 10 to spur one another on towards love and good deeds. And sometimes the people that do that best for us are unlikely friendships. There's a story in the Bible, in the book of Ruth. You guys have probably heard of Ruth. She's pretty famous. And the story goes like this. Her mother-in-law, unlikely friendship, am I right? Her mother-in-law actually, her sons die, so this is Ruth's husband dies, and the other daughter-in-law leaves, and Ruth says, no, I'm going to stay with you, Ruth. I'm going to love on you. I'm going to find friendship and community with you. And by turning to that unlikely friendship, her story goes on a crazy, crazy turn. And Ruth ends up in the lineage of Jesus Christ. Like, if you're in D groups, we've been studying that. That's crazy, you guys. And why? Because she saw an unlikely friendship. So maybe, are you ignoring or overlooking some people in your life that don't look like they can get you ahead or make you cooler, but that would be awesome for you? That would be really, really good, friends. Okay, we're going to dive in now to the meat, okay? Practical ways to feel safe, seen, and satisfied in your friendships, no matter what stage they're in. Ways to build trust. Okay, I'm going to go over 3 different types of friendships. So you have a chart. So can someone, show me your chart. You guys know where it is? You see it? Okay, there we go. In the top line of your chart, I want you to fill in these 3 friendships. The first one, new friendships. New friendships. The second one, middle column, well, it's like the 3rd column over on the top. Toxic friendships. Toxic friendships. And then the last column, healthy friendships. So we're going to start out with time. What does investing time look like in those friendships? How do you build trust in those 3 friendships? I don't know if you realize this, but time is one of the most important things in any relationship. There was actually there was a study that came out from the University of Kansas, and they basically were able to put a number, an amount of time on how much you need to spend with people in order to become friends. 50 hours of being together with someone, which is crazy. 50 hours means that you're going to be like a casual friend or an acquaintance with someone. It takes about 90 hours past that to go from casual friends to a solidified friendship. And then more than 200 hours before you can consider someone your best friend. That's just us as humans. We take time. We need to see that we can trust someone. You cannot snap your fingers and become best friends. I told you earlier about my 3 best friends, Ashley, Shelby, and Lydia. And one interesting thing about us is that we did not go to the same school. We only went to the same church, so we saw each other about twice a week. But we made time for each other. We never missed a birthday. We sent texts back and forth to each other. When we had an opportunity to invite somebody over, we did with those people, right? I would skip the school dance because I wanted to hang out with my friends. We supported one another in what we did. My friends used to come to my really boring show choir competitions, and then I'd go to their games. I used to go to my friend Ashley's volleyball games, and I went out to lunch with her and her husband not too long ago, and she brings out this poster that I made for her in high school. Is that not the sweetest thing? Sorry, it almost made me cry. She literally had saved the poster, but we used to go support one another. The things that matter to them matter to me. So, are you making time for the right people in the ways that you can? For new friendships, so in that where time and new friendships meet, I encourage you, start small. You don't have to try to build a, 5-10-year friendship in 2 weeks. You're gonna be one of the creepy, clingy friends, you know what I mean? Like, can we hang out? Why can't you hang out? I just wanna hang out. Start small. Send them a text. Invite them to something. If there's someone you see that you wanna be a friend with, and you're like, oh, they would be good for me, be intentional and start small. For toxic friends, distance yourself. Now, some of you guys need to work on who is in your toxic and your healthy category. And some friendships balance in the middle, and it's a constant teeter-totter, right? But there are friends that you know are toxic for you. And when I say distance yourself, I do not mean be rude to them. I do not mean be dramatic, because that's what a lot of you hear when I say distance yourself. And you go to school and you go up to them and you say, hey, so I was told that I need to distance myself from toxic friends, and you're toxic, and so I'm not gonna hang out with you anymore, okay? That is not what I'm talking about, okay? You know you do that too, and then you send them a text message, and then you send your friend a text message, I just can't hang out with them anymore, they're so toxic. That is not at all what I'm saying. In love, create some boundaries. Who are you spending the most time with? Do you need to slowly back away from some friends? For healthy relationships, make time. Make time. Ask the question, do you both feel seen? Do you both feel appreciated? Do you both feel like priorities? I get that you guys can't always control this at this stage. It's very difficult. I understand that. But when you do have an opportunity to sit with them at the lunch table, or sit with them at church, or your mom lets you invite somebody, invite them along. Find ways. I have a couple of specific ways, if you jump down in your notes, a couple of specific ways for you to make time for healthy friendships. 1, remember important events. Remember important events. When is their birthday? Don't forget their birthday. I'm not great at this. Rachel Taylor is the best at this. She remembers everything, and she has you this perfect card. She's and you feel so loved, right? She remembers things. It's important. Remember important events. Maybe something bad happened on that day. Like my friend Ashley, her mom passed away. I try to remember that day, and I try to be there for her. Remember important dates, good and bad. Second one, be available when you can. Again, I know this is difficult because you're not in control of your schedule all the time. But when you can, be available. I didn't choose to go to the school dances because I wanted to hang out with my friends. When you do have the choice, be intentional about what you do with your time. What relationships are you investing in the time that you do get to choose what you do? Third one, be present and productive. Be present and productive. Don't be on your phone the whole time you're hanging out with your friend. You're not gonna build a friendship, right? Even though I've seen some of you guys, you're literally sitting next to each other in the same room, and instead of having a conversation, you are texting back and forth to one another. Anyways, I would have done that in middle school too. except for we did it on AIM. Nope, don't know what that is. Cool. Anyways, but be present. Be engaged in what they are doing. Spend time together, even if it's playing video games. Like, have a goal or do something or have an activity, have a conversation. Be present and be productive. You will be the friend that their parents are like, hey, why don't you have so-and-so over? If they need to study or they need to clean their room, like, help them do it. I'm not joking. Your friend time with them will like double because their parents will love you. Be productive. If you're like, oh, I can't hang out, I have to study. What if you just studied together? You helped each other, if that's possible. Be present and productive. Okay, we're gonna move on to the second category, vulnerability. Vulnerability, it's that third line down in your chart. Being vulnerable is very difficult. What it means is being fully yourself, sharing who you are with someone else. And a lot of times I think this is difficult because we don't really know who we are fully. So how are we supposed to let people in on the doubts and the fears and the insecurities and sometimes the joys and the excitements and our quirkiness? For some of you, you're very quirky like me. You have a lot of idiosyncrasies. How do you let someone in on that? That's difficult. And growing up, this wasn't really an issue for me. I formed friendships, even with them when I was really young, when it's still okay to be weird. You know what I'm saying? I know some of you guys know what I'm saying because you're still weird. But when it's still okay to just completely be yourself and you don't get judged for it, that's when I found my friendships. But when I moved to California, it was difficult. Should I be a little smarter? Oh, I need to be a little more spiritual. Maybe if I was just a little bit more cultured. And we put these masks on. And this causes us to live in a false reality. These friendships that are kind of like facades. And it gets us then thinking, well, if they knew the real me, they probably wouldn't even want to be friends with me. And the whole time, they haven't even had the opportunity to be friends with the real you. It's difficult to be vulnerable. So how do we do that? In new friendships, pay attention. Pay attention. One really good indicator of if you're being yourself or not is how you talk. Do you find yourself trying to sound smarter around that person? Do you find yourself using language like cursing, saying things you don't normally say? That's probably a good indicator that you're trying to be something that you're not. How are you around that person? Do you start to dress differently? And it's not always bad. Sometimes it's just because you enjoy their style, or maybe it's a good influence. You like what they talk about. They're always happy. But if it causes you to not be who you are, the things that are great about your personality that God has called you to be, pay attention to those things in new friendships. In toxic friendships, be wise. Be wise. I'm not asking you to not be yourself, but there are different levels of friendship, if you know what I'm talking about. Like you have the skin of the apple, the meat of the apple, and then the core of the apple. You don't have to share all of who you are with everyone all the time. Let them in on every little thing that you're going through and every little secret, right? So with toxic friends, sometimes you have to be wise about what you share and how much you share. If you feel judged and you know they're going to gossip about things, maybe just pay attention. Again, don't be dramatic about this. I'm sorry, I just can't share it with you because I don't trust you because you gossip. I just don't like drama. You gossip so much. I can't do drama. You're the dramatic one. Sorry, rant. Anyways, be wise. Know how much you can share. With healthy friendships, be yourself. Seems obvious. Be yourself. Encourage each other. Build one another up. That's biblical, by the way. That's how Jesus asked the church to be. You look at the story of David and Jonathan. They encourage one another. They put the other person first. So you jump down in your notes to that second part. Some really, really practical ways. Encourage each other. Especially when you see something like some quirkiness about the person that you actually enjoy. Bring that out in them. Encourage them in that. Dude, it's so funny when you have that voice you do when you get, tickled. Like, I used to have this horrible laugh in high school. I don't even know where it came from, but I would go like, you know what I'm talking about? But my friends were they thought it was funny, and they encouraged me, and they didn't make me feel stupid. Love on your friends. Bring out the good in them. Don't gossip. That's your second one. Don't gossip. That seems obvious, but when someone is vulnerable with you and they share important stuff, don't go share it with other people. And some of you do it in the most sneaky ways. You just really need to pray for so-and-so because she's going through this, and I heard that she blah, 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 blah. Sneaky gossip. Don't gossip. Last one, don't let jealousy get in the way. Don't let jealousy get in the way. I mean, David and Jonathan, go read the story in the Bible. It's in 1 Samuel. No jealousy. So much humility. No pride. No wanting to get ahead. Jealousy will kill friendships faster than anything. And so when you admire something about your friends, encourage it in them. Don't get jealous of it and beat it down. Okay, last one, positivity. Positivity in your friendships. There was a study that came out in the 1970s, and they studied these couples, and they were able to predict with 90% accuracy which ones were going to get divorced and which ones were going to stay together based on this positivity principle. For every 5 positive interactions, there could only be 1 negative one. So the ratio there had to stay that or greater, so even more positive interactions for every 1 negative interaction. We have to have positivity in our friendships. Putting people down and sometimes the negative interactions aren't even purposeful. They're just conflicts that come up because it happens. And Dusty's going to talk about that next week. Sometimes you're going through something. Sometimes you need to put a burden on someone, and it's heavy. Just know that it's like a bank account. And for every negative withdrawal you take out, you have to put in positivity and encouragement and love and goodness. I have trademarked it. It's called your Frank account, friend bank account. So that's the fill in there. Balance your Frank account is the last one. That's for healthy friendships. For new friendships, be purposeful, be intentional. You need to set a foundation of positivity. It takes a lot to trust someone. But the more that you're encouraged, the more that you have good interactions, the more you walk away feeling better about yourself and being the best you, the more you're going to trust that person. So build a foundation. Be purposeful in what you say and how you interact to new friends. Toxic friends, love on them. Kill them with kindness, my mom used to say. Love on them. One great thing is that you can love on anyone all the time. Even if they're toxic, you can love on them back. You don't have to give negativity back to them. And I already told you the last one. In healthy relationships, balance your Frank account. TM. What does that look like? I think there's some really practical ways. Be interested in what they're interested in. Are you listening? Are you aware of their feelings? Do you walk in a room and start talking about yourself, or do you ask them, hey, how are you? You seem a little down today. Be interested in their life. Show that they matter. There's some really practical things, small things. Send them a text. Pray for them. They don't even have to know about it. Maybe send them a text that you are praying for them. Leave them a note in their locker. When you go on vacation, pick them up something small. Let them know that you care, that they matter. Empathize and apologize. This one's difficult, but put yourself in their shoes. Apologize when you do something wrong. Maybe make it right if there's a way to. Deposit positive things into your friend account. And the best way, find things to laugh about. It's great to have serious moments in your friendship, but if you want to have a positive Frank account, TM, have great interactions. Laugh with each other. Be silly. Do the things you enjoy together. That will build even the small things, even the things that seem not important. They build on one another and create a foundation of positive friendship. We're going to pray together. The band's going to come up. Jesus, thank you so much for friendship, for the fact that you have called us, Lord, into these relationships that encourage us and that strengthen us and make us the best version of ourselves. And so, God, I pray that we're intentional. Lord, that we build friendships on positivity, on being who we are, sharing life, bringing things to light. God, I pray over our friendships, God, that you would protect them, that you would build trust. Lord, that we would draw love from you and give it to those around us. We thank you so much for what you've taught us today and how you will work that out in our lives. It's in your name we pray. Amen.